When I was in high school, I was in the marching band. Shocking, I know. I thought that I was a band nerd. Don't answer that. Anyway, one of the things a marching band does is perform in parades. It wasn't my favorite. It was basically a long, brisk walk in uncomfortable clothing, holding an instrument at attention, and ever alert for the signal to lift our instruments in unison to play the same song over and over again. For shorter parades, it was really just a boring chore, but for longer parades, I remember one Mardi Gras parade that was forever long. It started off good, but by the end of the parade, we didn't even pretend to march. We were literally stumbling to the finish line, not caring how we looked or sounded. We just wanted to be done. That may be how you feel when you get to the end of homeschool planning and organizing. Just ready to be done. Not wanting to see one more book, not wanting to print one more page, not wanting to use that hole punch one more time, and definitely not wanting to see one more delivery box. Because receiving homeschool related deliveries stopped being exciting a while ago. Okay, I'm going to tell you something, but I don't want you to throw a shoe at me when I say it. And don't throw a chancleta either if you're from a Puerto Rican family like I am. Here it is. We still have a couple more things to do to end our planning strong. I'm Leslie Maddox, an engineer turned homeschool mom, and I want to help you customize your homeschool. In the last Homeschool Plan Decoded video, we talked about how to prepare for the first day of school. Let's continue customizing your homeschool by preparing for the worst and taking care of a few housekeeping matters. The first thing we want to do is create a backup plan. I know, you put a whole lot of work into making your homeschool plans. And you've been following along with the Homeschool Plan Decoded method of planning and organizing your homeschool, so you've done everything that you can to avoid potential pitfalls. But you know what they say about best laid plans. Sometimes a curriculum isn't what we thought it would be. Sometimes we misjudge what we think our kids will enjoy. And sometimes life just happens, interrupting our plans and forcing us to make modifications. Like the year my city was flooded. That was a hiccup. I do have some suggestions, which we'll talk about, for handling challenges in the event that things don't go according to plan. You'll see them listed on the backup plan worksheet in the Homeschool Planning Decoded Starter Kit, which you can find at the link below. The point is that we want to think about possible problems at a time when we're not in the thick of the homeschool year, so that we can take deliberate and helpful actions if the problem does arise. So the first thing to do is to be gut-wrenchingly honest with yourself about any of your homeschool plans for the year that you're especially unsure about. For example, are you concerned that a particular curriculum you've chosen will not work for your child? Are you worried about teaching a certain subject, or that schoolwork will take too long? After you've thought about possible difficulties, document them. Just write them down. This isn't being negative. You're not going to jinx anything. This is your moment of declaring that those possible problems will not derail your entire homeschool year. After documenting any possible difficulties, it's time to put a plan in place just in case that difficulty does come about. To be able to do that, you need to ask yourself why you're concerned. For example, if you're worried that a particular math curriculum won't work, why does it worry you? Do you think it might be too challenging or not challenging enough? Are you concerned that it'll move too quickly or not have enough review? Try to be specific about your concern. Once you've pinpointed what's bothering you, you can think about how to address it. Maybe you can use another form of your students' preferred learning methods. For example, maybe your student would prefer audiobooks rather than read-alouds, dioramas rather than drawing, stickers rather than stamps, flashcards rather than worksheets. You could also try a different learning method, because you may find that your students' attention is sparked in different ways for different subjects. So like maybe they love hands-on learning methods, but for learning history, they prefer a video. Or maybe they love to read to learn, but for science, they do better with worksheets. You could also focus on your student's social need. For example, if you've been doing history as a group and that's not working for a child that prefers to work independently, let them do history independently. Or if you've been trying to let your student do grammar independently and it's been super frustrating for them because they like a little hand holding, plan to do grammar with them. Incorporating new or fun tools can also do a world of good, like using stickers to add color to boring worksheets, using erasable friction pens and fun colors rather than pencils, or practicing spelling words on dry erase boards. One of my favorite tricks is to change how often we work in the curriculum or do that particular activity. So like maybe 3 times a week rather than 4 days a week, skipping days in between. Just be aware of your local homeschool laws to make sure you get in all of the hours required if that's something that you have to pay attention to. You can also change the way that you use the curriculum. For example, allowing your student to type rather than handwrite, or to dictate while you write. And I like to incorporate apps or games to practice math, spelling, and grammar skills, especially on Fridays or whenever I feel my students getting a little burned out with the curriculum. A reward system could also work. I like to use punch cards to incentivize my kids to get certain subjects done by lunchtime. And the starter kit has pages for setting up a reading reward system. The absolute last resort is to switch to a different curriculum. Seriously, that's the last thing you should think about because you're not going to find a perfect curriculum. The wiser choice is to try to pinpoint the issue and see if you can fix that, or you're just going to end up with another curriculum with the same issue or a different set of issues. It's frustrating. Ask me how I know. So get that backup plan ready. Of course, you won't be able to prepare for every eventuality, but going through the thought process will help you if you do come across an unexpected problem. The next task to get done in order to end your planning strong is to customize a homeschool planning checklist that works for you specifically. You can start off with a planning checklist in the starter kit and then tailor it to your family so that it contains only the tasks that you need to plan your homeschool year. Setting up this checklist now, when homeschool planning is still fresh in your mind, will save you time later. You may even want to create a homeschool planning checklist in a project management system like Asana or Trello. I love using Asana for this type of thing. Next, schedule curriculum planning for the next year. Set a reminder or make an entry in your planner so that you can begin the planning process for the following year on a date that gives you plenty of time to plan and not rush the process. While you're scheduling things, also schedule year-end evaluations and testing if needed so that you remain compliant with your local homeschool laws. And if your local homeschool laws require a yearly portfolio, or if you would like a yearly portfolio as a keepsake, go ahead and get it ready. You may choose to set up separate portfolios for individual students, or you may choose to set up one big binder that includes all of your students. Purchase a binder a little larger than you think you'll need, and you can use the portfolio binder cover and spine in the starter kit or create your own. Refer to your local homeschool laws to determine what you should include in your portfolios, using dividers to keep your documentation organized. With your portfolio binder ready to go, you can update it throughout the school year and save yourself some time at the end of the year. And finally, plan for the last day of school activities. Otherwise, the year will end in a not special way, which is fine if that's okay with you. But if you want to mark the occasion, make some tentative plans now. For example, do you want to take last day of school pictures so that you can compare how your children changed throughout the school year? Mark these activities in your planner and prepare your last day of school signs now if you can. Because when the last day of school rolls around, you'll likely be in the middle of planning for the following school year, so it'll be easy to forget to mark the completion of the current academic year. Remember that you can access all of the videos that walk you through the steps of the homeschool plan decoded method of customizing your homeschool right now at the link below. And may you have a wonderful homeschool year.